The demarcation problem with brown dwarf stars, in which it's hypothesized that they are actually different than bigger stars and that they're different than high mass planets. But as we all know, compartmentalization is going to ruin the major insight which is staring them right in the face. That there is no such thing as a brown dwarf mutually exclusive of a younger star, which is larger, hotter, and brighter like the sun, or Earth, which is a very, very old star which has differentiated its interior and the majority of the material is already solidified. What I mean to say is it's not that they're different in the sense that they need to be compartmentalized and put into a little box, but they are different in that they are different states of their evolution. They are different ages, obviously. I'm on the Wikipedia page here for brown dwarf on high mass brown dwarfs versus low mass stars. Now remember, establishment likes to make things fit into a little box. So here we go. Lithium is generally present in brown dwarfs and not in low mass stars. False. Lithium is present in all stars. So to say that there's a lithium test to differentiate them is false. As well, stars are not fusion reactors, they are dissipative events from galaxy birth. So even to consider the star is somehow being powered by any kind of fusion reaction and then trying to differentiate the actual composition of the star based off these hypothetical pseudoscience fusion reactions is false from the get-go. Unlike stars, older brown dwarfs are sometimes cool enough that over very long periods of time, their atmospheres can gather observable quantities of methane. Notice how they say gather methane. You don't realize that all methane is carbon and hydrogen. What happens is the hydrogen combines with the carbon. It's an exothermic reaction. It's a chemical reaction releasing heat. They say it collects the methane. What happens is the hydrogen combines with carbon. It synthesizes the methane. You can see the false understanding right there, right in front of you. Main sequence stars is cool, but eventually reach a minimum bolometric luminosity that they sustain through steady fusion. Well, there goes the fusion dogma again. Stars don't release heat via fusion reactions, they release heat via exothermic reactions from plasma recombining into gas, and gas undergoing synthesis reactions, chemical synthesis reactions, releasing heat. They're called exothermic reactions. It's basic chemistry. It says it varies from star to star, but is generally at least 0.01% of that of the sun. Brown dwarfs cool and darken steadily over their lifetimes. Sufficiently old brown dwarfs will be too faint to be detectable. Well, there you go. There's some sort of hint that might lead these idiots in the right direction. It says here, iron rain as part of the atmospheric convection processes is possible only in brown dwarfs and not in small stars. Brown dwarf is a small star. What the hell? The spectroscopy research into iron rain is still ongoing, and not all brown dwarfs will always have this atmospheric anomaly. I'm pretty sure that iron differentiates itself during stellar evolution into the center. So yes, there is some aspect of iron rain, but to say it's iron alone is missing a whole bunch of the picture. As well, what about the iron's properties? The fact that it's ferromagnetic, the fact that it can be ionized, the fact that electroplating is involved, none of that is mentioned here. It just said iron rain. Fact is, all stars have iron rain as they evolve, forming the core. So, to say it's only possible in brown dwarfs, not in small stars, is to completely ignore what it means to have a small star. Sorry for constantly doing the quote thing. Alright, it says here, low mass brown dwarfs versus high mass planets. A remarkable property of brown dwarfs is they are all roughly the same radius as Jupiter. False. They are forced to be the same radius as Jupiter via the publications, meaning scientists don't study any brown dwarfs that are different than Jupiter because they're afraid of them. Because what happens when you find stars that are larger and larger and larger? Well, you make the connection right off the bat that the star cools and shrinks and becomes the brown dwarf. So they're essentially afraid of it. As well, you can see the compartmentalization attitude of the mathematicians because they want all the stars to be the same size. So if they consider what is a brown dwarf, are like, well, let's just neglect all these other sizes, neglect all these other sizes, and make a perfect mathematical formula where we can put brown dwarfs in this little box that's this size right here. And if anything steps out of that, we can label them something else. That's their attitude. Alright, it says here, at the end of the mass range, 60 to 90 Jupiter masses, the volume of a brown dwarf is governed primarily by electron degeneracy pressure. The volume, as it is in white dwarfs. At the low range of 10 mass Jupiters, their volume is governed primarily by Coulomb pressure, as it is in planets. So here we are, screwing everything up. The only thing that keeps planets from collapsing upon themselves is Coulomb pressure. Same with stars. Coulomb pressure is what keeps a star from collapsing on itself and exploding into a supernova. That's how the discovery was made to begin with. But, you know, they're going to plow right through that as if they have no thinking capacity at all. No problem-solving skills whatsoever. But anyways. In addition, many brown dwarfs undergo no fusion. Wow. That's one hell of a minute. Those at the low end of the mass range, under 13 Jupiters, are never hot enough to fuse even deuterium. But, okay, so they're not hot enough to fuse deuterium, so where's all this information that overviews chemical reactions and electrochemical reactions, thermochemical reactions? Because I'm pretty sure brown dwarfs are made of lots and lots of chemicals. But as you see here, none of it's mentioned. Nothing about chemistry is mentioned in this at all. So, boom, right off the bat, they're engaging in pseudoscience. X-ray and infrared spectra are telltale signs. Some brown dwarfs emit X-rays, and all warm dwarfs continue to glow tellingly in the red and infrared spectrum until they cool to planet-like temperatures. That's one hell of it in minutes too. But notice how they have the star as a fusion reactor, and then if it's not fusion reactor, well, it cools to a planet-like temperature. Idiots. But anyways, here we are. Currently, the International Astronomical Union, which is going to be meeting in Honolulu in a few days, I believe in August, considers an object with a mass above the limiting mass for thermonuclear fusion of deuterium, currently calculated to be 13 Jupiter masses, for objects of solar metallicity, whatever that means. We've already debunked that, to be a brown dwarf, whereas an object under that mass and orbiting a star or stellar remnant is considered a planet. Little do they know, all brown dwarfs, all planets, and all objects that are out there, basically, that are spherical, are stellar remnants. But, you know, do these people know that? No, because their philosophy is all remnants are formed from the birthing process. In a previous video, I went over the fact that the star becomes the planet. So basically, if they say stellar remnant, they're talking about a planet, which is the remains of a star's evolution. But I don't think that's going to sink in. I don't think they have the ability to reason at that level yet, because they're all placed into a little box by their graduate education. But there we are. There's a few thoughts. I just wanted to go review that video real quick, because I believe that there's a little bit more clarification to be made concerning this discovery. Today is June 11th, 2015. Everybody have a good day.